The fate of Ora's mayor, Agim Kaimaku, and the mayor of Shkodër, Valdrin Pietri, is expected to be decided next week when the general prosecution will be in contact with Greek and Italian authorities. The Tirana Court of Appeals has rejected the release of Izzet Hajia, who is accused of killing MP Hazem Haidari, the court deciding to uphold the first instance verdict, which had earlier imposed a prison sentence for the defendant. Albanian businesses receive 11.8 billion lek of VAT refunds over 8 months after immediate action was needed as many were facing bankruptcy. It is 6 o'clock on Saturday, the 14th of September 2019. Good evening and thank you for tuning in to RTV Ora's English edition. My name is Oliver, bringing you the only daily update of the local Albanian news translated into English. Making headlines tonight, the general prosecution, specifically the decriminalization sector, is expected to receive an answer from the Italian and Greek authorities at the beginning of next week regarding the past history of Valdrin Pietri of Shkodër and Agim Kaimaku of Vora. Sources have informed RTV Ora that after transferring fingerprints, the Albanian accusers will have all the details of the two socialists during the period they resided in the two countries. Pietri, who was not sworn in as the mayor of Shkodër, is accused of being convicted and expelled from Italy after his involvement in the drug trafficking. Vora's mayor Agim Kaimaku, also known as Yorgo Toto, is accused of being convicted in Greece. Meanwhile, the indictment has already begun against the Vaoideas mayor Mark Babani. It is now learned that the decriminalization structure has issued a letter requesting fingerprints to verify the cases in Italy and North Macedonia. The Democratic Party says that the documents are expected to be released earlier next week, while maintaining that Babani has also hidden his past. Regarding the issue, the Democratic Party Secretary General has issued a final warning. The Democratic Party has accused 3 socialist mayors of being implicated, while warning that there are more indications of another 11. In the meantime, the DP has also filed charges against the Prime Minister, stating that his connections to crime, buying, and manipulating votes are inseparable, even when there is no opposition. Next up tonight, even after blocking hundreds of tons of hazardous food, the topic of food safety remains at the center of debates. Agriculture Minister Bledi Cucci has already closely inspected a slaughterhouse in Leja set up by government funds. The minister stressed that the slaughterhouse in Leja is disciplined in the context of increased food security. Cucci said that thanks to the investment of this entity, the number of employees has already tripled. He said that the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, together with its subordinate agencies, has encouraged the establishment of slaughterhouses with up-to-date standards throughout the country. Moving on now, the Tirana Court of Appeals has rejected Izzet Hajia's request for release from prison, which contends that his period of detention is over. The Court of Appeals decided to uphold the decision by the first instance court, which ruled to release Hajia from prison for the murder of MP Hazem Haidari. During the court hearing, the defendant pleaded with judges to make the right decision, as according to him, the case was being commanded by political whims. I have not avoided justice. I decided to return to Albania and learn of the allegations against me in order to face justice. I ask you to make a fair and impartial decision, as this case is being politically handled, said Hajia. At the beginning, the defendant's lawyer submitted a new document emanating from Turkey, but was rejected by the court for their lack of translation. The test we received from Turkey was inapproachable because it was not translated in the form required by law. Regarding his home arrest that lasted 8 years in Turkey, those documents we will translate, notarize, and eventually send to another request, said Hidayet Bachiri. At the close of the hearing, Hajia's lawyer Bachiri stated that the decision by the Court of Appeal was completely undeserving for him, calling it a legal mistake. Referring to the continuation of the process, Bachiri also said that he will take the case to the Supreme Court once it is operational. Meanwhile, on Thursday, the prosecution sought a declaration of incompetence for Hajia's retrial, arguing that the penal offense for which he was convicted and is being retried for is in fact within the jurisdiction of the Serious Crimes Court. The state police school has been forced to lower their threshold of accepting qualified candidates for general patrols because of the low level of candidates enrolling in testing. The lowest score for this year marked a record drop of just 38 points out of a possible score of 100, though last year it was 50 points, while in 2014 the police school's entrance threshold was 74. But the sources in the General Directorate of Police say that the deduction of points in the threshold is insignificant. In addition to lowering the score, which translates to less preparation for the candidates, another concern is the application of those individuals with criminal history to take part. Former Police Director Arben Haidamatai says that these people are highly likely to enter into political ranks. The most recent case is that of the murdered activist Santiago Malco. Malco, who is known for becoming part of the Albanian police force after studying at the academy, would then go on in becoming involved in a wide criminal behavior. The former director and head of Aluizni in Dieber has been prosecuted as part of an operation against informalities of duty, evasion of tourism, construction, hydrocarbons, trading of excise goods, and tax evasion. 56-year-old Nejet Kazia, the former branch director and sector officer of Luizni, is facing charges of abuse of duty. According to police, they have allegedly acted in violation of the law while providing inappropriate benefits to certain individuals and damaging the legitimate interests of the state in administering the territory. 4 former employees of Peshkapia's thermal springs are also under investigation on the basis of a 2016 state audit report. It's suspected that their actions have resulted in the breakdown of economic and administrative activities in the Balneare Center in Dieber. According to reports, their scheme has brought unduly benefits to several employees of the administration in the form of transportation bonuses and has avoided taxation on the remuneration of employees at this center. According to police, all these actions have influenced the company's interests and caused significant economic damage to Balneare's company in Peshkapi. Following concerns raised by the business community as well as the International Monetary Fund over these past 8 months, businesses in the country were distributed 11.8 billion lek. There is still about 9 billion lek scheduled to be repaid by the end of this year. According to the General Directorate of Taxation, only 1.68 billion lek were reimbursed during the month of August, or roughly 42% more than the previous month of August. There are 878 claims that have been submitted by the businesses for profit of VAT over 8 months, while 776 of them have been settled. Following numerous complaints from exporters, the tax administration has prioritized exporters' claims by refunding 515 of them, or 67% of the total number of refund claims. This selection came after addressing their impact on employment, sensitivity to exchange rate fluctuations, and the contractual relationship that defines the sector. VAT reimbursements have become a hindrance to the economy, as many businesses mention of freelancers and exporters warning that they are in a crisis and even at risk of bankruptcy. Residents of Chapzez of Colonia, whose dwellings were demolished by the recent earthquake, have again set out to protest, claiming that the names on the lists of families selected for the reconstruction of dwellings were selected based on political affiliation. They are urging Prime Minister Rama to help, as they believe local authorities were stealing from them. We wander in the open sky. We are sleeping in shelters. No one thinks about us. This list is selective through party ties. We are in a frightening situation. They are lying to us, and now winter is approaching, and we simply have nowhere to go. We beg the Prime Minister to step up and help us. He must set up a commission from the government because they are stealing from us, said residents. The mayor of Colonia, Ariane Isai, has reacted after Chapzez residents accuse that earthquake-ravaged houses are being selected for construction predicated on political beliefs. Isai said that residents' claims were unfair, maintaining that work had already begun on 3 of the 4 most problematic dwellings in the village and the reconstruction of 20 others. Meanwhile, 246 houses are still slightly damaged through Colonia, which will be handled with compensation. Residents living in their relatives' apartments will receive the status of homeless from Colonia municipality and will therefore receive a rent bonus. Mayor Isai promised that within the first few days of October, none of the residents in Chapzez will live in tents, containers, or huts. And finally tonight, the new school year in and around the capital is confronted with numerous road safety measures, even within the premises of the primary and secondary schools. In a media statement, the Director General of Municipal Police, Ermal Kaplani, announced that everything is under control by ensuring that parents and citizens have a day that coincides with the first day of school. Kaplani called on all citizens to minimize vehicle use and try to find alternative means to facilitate traffic. Student safety will be given special attention by also inspecting street vendors. September 16th marks the first day of school for the 2019 and 2020 school year, where in the capital alone, over 7,000 new children are expected to start their first year of school. And that's the news across the country today. Thank you so much for watching our English edition this evening, and be sure to join us again every Monday to Saturday at 6 p.m. for the latest news from Albania. Once again, on behalf of RTV Ora, thank you and have a great weekend.